Well, hello and good morning. Welcome to Morning News on Newday with me, Anthony Jackson. Let's look at the headlines for this morning. Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari wins a second term with 56% of votes. President Akufo-Addo has challenged a newly inaugurated think tank to assist governments deal with critical foreign policy. Into Parliament, where some minority MPs are questioning the moral right of President Akufo-Addo and his call for vigilante groups in the country to be disbanded. The Ghana Police Service has revised its service instructions. And on the international front, U.S. President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un will on Wednesday meet for their second summit. Let's start off from the presidency, where President Akufo-Addo has challenged the newly inaugurated think tank Council on Foreign Relations CFR Ghana to assist governments deal with critical foreign policy and international issues with direct bearing on the country's interests both home and abroad. The president, who inaugurated the council in Accra, encouraged them to work with the foreign ministry to deepen Ghana's foreign relations.
The Foreign Affairs think tank, made up of profound Ghanaian experts in international relations, peace and security issues, is led by astute diplomat and former ambassador D.K. Osei. The council is expected to undertake research in Ghana's foreign policy and international relations, organize conference on international issues, publish memos of retired diplomats and other professionals, among others.
CFR Ghana seeks to mobilize the rich and diverse pool of human resources in this country and beyond to improve the understanding of contemporary continental and global issues towards effective policy making and execution.
Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration Minister Shirley Ayoko Bochwe called on the council to assist the ministry with their expertise to promote Ghana's international image.
The creation of a Council on Foreign Relations for our nation offers us an opportunity to deepen and strengthen our nation's foreign policy through the contributions of a wide range of experts drawn from our vibrant and dynamic society. Much of the goodwill Ghana enjoys derives from the admirable role we have consistently played in global affairs.
President Akufo-Addo charged the council to work towards ensuring Ghana preserves her hard-won reputation as a beacon of democracy on the African continent.
Not only are you expected to be facilitators in improving policy making and execution, but you're also to act as agents of social change, the fifth estate, as some would call it. If effectively positioned and focused, think tanks can strike a formidable partnership with state and non-state actors alike to set and deepen the agenda of public discourse and shape national, regional, continental, and global conversations. We need a strong, reputable policy think tank to ensure that stakeholders are well informed to enable them to contribute meaningfully to the defense and promotion of the national interest.
The think tank is again expected to place the experience and knowledge at the disposal of government, international organizations, the public, academia, and all who seek to understand better foreign policy issues.
Member of Parliament for the Ningo Prampram constituency, Samuel George Nate, says he cannot identify the second person who assaulted him during the Ayawaso West Wagon constituency by-election. He told the Ayawaso West Wagon Commission that the second assailant was masked. You can watch us live on TV3, on News on TV3 on Facebook. Let's go for the story now.
Making his second appearance at the Ayawaso West Wagon Commission, The Ningo Prampram MP Samuel George Neti said he sustained some injuries during the attack on him by the masked men.
My neck was swollen, and let me say thank you to my wife who massaged it day and night for about 4 days for me. I'm grateful to her.
He clarified that no one had been killed in the shooting incident, contrary to claims he made on the day of the by-election. Sam George Neti confirmed that the man he claimed had died is still alive. In the views of the Ningo Prampram MP, the best way to get rid of the vigilante groups is to fix the country's land tenure system.
First and foremost, it's a demand and supply thing. If there's no demand, there will be no supply. I believe that one of the ways of solving this menace is to fix our land tenure system. If our land tenure system is such that when I want to buy a land, I know that once I pay, I do a search, I know who owns the land, there will be no need for land guards. That automatically drops the supply of this burly men who lend themselves to firearms and use them for other things.
Well, let's head over to Nigeria, where candidate of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Muhammadu Buhari, has been declared winner of the presidential election held on February 23, 2019. Buhari, who is the incumbent president, defeated the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, to emerge winner of the keenly contested polls. INEC chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu made the declaration. Meanwhile, the president has been speaking to the Nigerian people on his re-election.
Buhari Muhammadu of the APC scored 15,191,847 votes. Abubakar Atiku of the PDP scored 11,262,978 votes. That Muhammadu Buhari of the All Progressive Congress, having satisfied the requirements of the law and scored the highest number of votes, is hereby declared winner and is returned elected. Thank you.
Sign the ECSDA and will be guided accordingly by Professor Kuna while we retrieve.
First and foremost, thank Almighty God, who has made our lives to witness another victory for Nigerian democracy and victory for our party, All Progressive. I thank the millions of Nigerians who voted to re-elect me as your president for the next 4 years, and keep me humble.
Well, now back home in Ghana, some minority MPs are questioning the moral right of President Akufo-Addo and his call for vigilante groups in the country to be disbanded. According to the MP for Karachi West, Helen Intoso, the president has surrounded himself with armed vigilante persons, yet he is calling for such groups to be disbanded. She was contributing to the debate on the president's State of the Nation address.
Parliament has begun debates of the President's State of the Nation address that was delivered to the House last week, Thursday. Minister of Information, Kojo Opon-Nkrumah, moved the motion.
Peace and security is not guaranteed by mere rhetoric that we're a peaceful people or we're a peaceful nation. It is guaranteed by making the necessary investments in staffing, in training, and in tooling our security agencies. Mr. Speaker, for many years, our security agencies have been left unattended to, leading to a gradual whittling down of their abilities and their professionalism.
Would the President purge the security agencies of all the vigilante group members that have been nicodemously recruited into the regular security services?
MP for Bulsa North, James Agalga, in his contribution mentioned the increase in allowance for UN peacekeepers was effected by the John Mahama administration, but the president mentioned it in his address as if it was something new. But the defense minister would not agree with him.
This is what the MPP manifesto says. After announcing the 1% dollar increase,
It was rejected by the military personnel, and under pressure, Mahama was forced to increase it by another $4 to $35.
An announcement was made. The Minister of Defense never took action. The leadership of the Ghana Armed Forces there never took action. No single soldier under the watch of the previous administration up to December 31st, 2016 got any payment beyond $30 a day.
James Agalga also said the security situation in the country was undesirable, touching on the Ayawaso West war gun violence.
Findings of a commission of inquiry cannot form the basis of criminal prosecutions. Those who carried out the acts of violence at Ayawaso West war gun, Mr. Speaker, are known to the national security apparatus. And so our worry is that they ought to have been arrested. The criminal investigations ought to have been carried out.
On energy, the majority touted achievements made so far, but the minority indicated a solid foundation was laid by the NDC government, yet the MPP government has not been able to improve on it.
We are in this house. It is only the Parliament of Ghana that can ratify a petroleum agreement. Can anybody in this house tell me that we ratified a petroleum agreement in 2017? No. Was there a new agreement in 2017? No. So when the president says that his new agreement, when he just walked in, he discovered oil, quite frankly, it's laughable.
Mr. Speaker, you will recall that in this very house, sometime in 2010 or so, Mr. Speaker, there was an argument on the floor here with respect to the acquisition of oil block by Arca.
The debate continues on Wednesday.
Now, the Ghana Police Service has revised its service instructions with the aim of combating corruption among its ranks, fight crime and promote the rule of law. At the launch of the document and a communication strategy in Accra, IGP David Asanteape to stress that documents will also enhance the image of the police to make it a world-class institution. Here's a report by Godfred Tenam.
Police service was called the Gold Coast Constabulary before 1957 and later metamorphosed into the Ghana Police Force after independence. But surprisingly, the same set of instructions that govern the professional conduct of the force remains same till now, even though it has become a service. It is against this background that the police service has reviewed the service instructions to come up with a modern version that will reflect current demands of the police service as it undergoes transformation. Interior Minister Ambrose Derry indicated government will continue to equip and maintain the police service.
Government will continue to play its constitutional role of equipping and maintaining the police service so as to enable it perform its legitimate duty of maintaining law and order.
The Inspector General of Police, David Asanteape, said the launch of the documents is part of the agenda to transform the service.
Many have always questioned the basis of some of our actions or inactions, without recourse to the fundamental documents that serve as our anchor. Flowing from the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana through the Police Service Act to the tactical document, the service instructions, the police administration has always done its best to prevent capricious and unprofessional conduct.
Ambassador and head of the European Union in Ghana, Diana Consia, says the Union will continue to support the police service with capacity building for effective prosecution and improving professional standards.
These efforts are geared towards equipping police officers across Ghana with better staff management, ethics and performance at field level to prevent misconduct and corruption.
Director of the Public Affairs of the Ghana Police Service, ACP David Eklu, said the communication strategy developed by the service will enhance the relationship between the service and the public. He hinted of a framework for the protection of journalists.
The media have been identified as an effective tool in policing. We need to use the media in a way that will enhance public safety. It is also to ensure that these frictions and misunderstandings between the police and the media are reduced.
The development of the documents was supported by the anti-corruption, rule of law and accountability of the European Union.
All right, let's do some international stories now. U.S. President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un will meet on Wednesday for their second summit, betting their personal relationship can break a stalemate over the North's nuclear weapons and end more than 70 years of hostility, despite little progress toward his stated goal of ridding North Korea of its nuclear weapons. Since first meeting Kim in Singapore last year, Trump has said he is fully committed to his personal diplomacy with Kim. Well, that's it for news for this morning. Newday returns shortly after this break.
Good morning, guys. Welcome to TV3 Newday. My name is Johnny Hughes. Today, it sounds like I'm going to be a lone ranger because Bright has gone witch hunting. Dr. Nana Majima has a medical emergency, and so I am here with you alone. The clouds are gathering, I'm sure you know. So if you don't have a duty out there, don't rush out there. If you're going to be driving, drive safe and don't try to speed up because you may just skid off the road. But good morning. It's Wednesday, midweek, and we're gradually going to end the month of February. I trust you're fine. Our WhatsApp lines are active, you know. Twitter is active. Facebook is active. We're big on your comments. Let's read them. Let's hear them. And let's share with you what's happening in Nigeria. We'll be sharing a bit of that with you shortly. Komla Kluche has been there with Percy Agbanu. They will be sharing what they found there and some of the results that have come up. We understand Buhari has been re-elected president. What happened to the articulators? Okay, we will share that detail with you. And then we'll also talk about health, the silent killer, hypertension, or what's been known as hypertension. Well, it's there. It's a silent killer. How do you get it? How do you prevent it? How do you see symptoms? Because it's a condition, how do you manage it if you've already gotten it? We will tell you about that. And then we'll be talking about the movie industry. What way forward, the Film Act, the Film Bill, the Film Fund, all of what the President spoke about in the State of the Nation address. Doesn't make any meaning at all to the people in the industry. We'll be talking with Mr. Franz. He is a long-standing actor who's been played in Ghana, played in Nigeria. It sounds like today the show is Ghana, Nigeria. Well, we'll be talking to him about that. And then finally, we'll have a bit of sports. We'll have the news review segment. But our daily run segment this morning, we're going straight to it. My man, your man, Courage Komla Yaira Kluche Esquire. Komla, welcome. No, I just give people who I think are sharp Esquire. Yeah. No, Esquire is actually missed there anyway. Komla, how are you doing?
Really,
welcome back home.
Thank you, brother.
Welcome back
Thank
home.
you.
And great job there.
Thank you. Well, it's all with the support of the likes of you. I know a number of times I've had to call you on the phone, ask you to go to the recording studios in CBT and others to work out stuff for me. So, I mean, it's a collected effort, and we're glad that we've been able to make it.
The first time you and Percy stepped into the country, Nigeria, what was the mood and feeling like? The campaigns were just about to wrap up, right?
No, we got into Nigeria, that's Abuja specifically, on the 15th,
okay,
which was a day before the election.
Okay, so campaigns wasn't very
I mean, they had ended the campaign 24 hours before then. The campaign ended on a Thursday.
Right.
We got in, and virtually everybody had gone to their various states and all that to go and get themselves ready to vote on the 16th.
Right.
So we waited. I mean, at the time we got in, we had not picked up our accreditation and stuff, so we were running here and there trying to get it, as well as gauging the mood in Nigeria. Look, it was tensed. I must.
Was
absolutely tensed. If you have covered, this is the second time we've covered the Nigerian elections, and I mean, you would agree with me. Now, when it comes to elections in Nigeria, it's a total shutdown.
The stakes are high.
Absolutely high. Restricted movement. If you have no business to do with the elections, either you're an INEC official, even the party officials were highly restricted as to where they would go, where they would not go.
What necessitated the restrictions and the calmness, if you will?
2015, you recall, there were a lot of Boko Haram insurgency and all that. They had even attempted the capital, the main Abuja, the capital as well. So this in one way or the other has made the security agencies and then the government, I mean at the time, PDP, take a decision and say that, look, we've got to put in measures. Even those measures that they put in, if you look at 2015 at the time, President Goodluck Jonathan postponed this election because he said there were some issues regarding security. At the time, Boko Haram strikes were so rife that not just in Maiduguri, they had entered part of Kaduna, Niger State, and Niger State, and I mean all over the place. So the reason was for them to re-strategize and look at how best they will do it. The more reason why they have had to, and when you look also at the history of Nigeria, you will realize that what we call vigilantism here, I mean, our issue, this is one of a common thing. I mean, they're all over the place.
It's very rife there.
Absolutely rife, and they are daring. I was not surprised on the day of elections in part of Lagos State. People went as far as, they were very daring. If you saw the videos, you see they picked the ballot boxes, and even the INEC officials, they called their bluff, they beat them to pulp and took the ballot boxes away, went, some printed them. Later on, some of these polling units had results declared as having voted. Meanwhile, elections did not go on there.
So what kept you safe? We'll come to the Nigerian elections in bits, but what kept you safe, you and Percy, while all of this was happening? I'm just curious.
I've been asking myself why everybody else wants you to be safe. Yes, we took precautions. We were careful of where we would go and all that. We had our own backed up security, have to be state that, but nonetheless, what we did was to strictly go by those instructions by the federal government. If you are not properly accredited, there were, look, most of the places you just cannot go. The conference center, for instance, which was a coalition center in the situation room for INEC, every other day, look, accreditation kept changing. So you have an accreditation today, there's a master list, your name is on it. But the tag you are given for today, Wednesday, will not be the same tag that you will use
on Thursday,
on Friday.
Which means that if your task is done on Wednesday, that's it.
That is
you
it.
have no business there.
Yes, there's a generic one which you may use to enter close to the main entrance. But when you're going in, it is reviewed. They have a list.
So from the main entrance, you can come to, say, the media hub.
Yes.
It will afford you a chance to get to the media hub.
It will afford you to get to the media hub.
But to get into the engine room,
never.
You needed
never. There was a biometric smart card that they gave. I mean, had your biodata and everything. All they needed to do was just to scan them, and then once your name, if your name is on a list, they need to look at it, get you scanned as well for you to have access inside.
Let's talk about the parties, the two forerunners, because it looked like it was a two-horse race. Atiku and Buhari, their offices, PDP, APC, their headquarters. When the elections got postponed, first of all, let's talk about the postponement. It was postponed about 3 a.m., 2 a.m.?
Yes, at 3 a.m. Nigeria time, that is 2 a.m. here in Ghana. It was postponed. That film, I remember, I mean, after all that we had done that Friday, we were so tired, we got into bed, getting ready to leave around 4 a.m. when the breaking news came. So we've had to, what normally Percy will call Jacob. I mean, we have to run and get onto the street. Yeah. So we have had to just get in. But the point is, look, the postponement of the elections, in one way or the other, I am beginning to understand
Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, for that bold and firm decision he took. It was in the interest of Nigerians. At the time, I can assure you that the tension was so high.
They were not happy with the postponement.
They were not happy, but to a very large extent, many Nigerians feel that that decision, that single decision that he and INEC took, diffused the tension, and that played part in the 23rd one. You realize, yes, people came in, not as much as should have been the case, but a lot of people came in, and the tension was not as high as it was. I mean, on the Friday, immediately you enter into the airspace of Abuja, you will feel that there's tension there. The security was just all over the place. Even this one, that yes, it was all over the place, but you could feel that this was a bit reduced as compared to the previous irrespective of the fact that the standards were not reduced.
Then the parties decided to hold press conferences to speak to the media. What were they trying to achieve?
Were you not surprised that both parties, the two leading ones, the PDP and the APC, yes, and the APC, were accusing INEC that INEC was doing both of them in? I mean, that should send you a signal that INEC probably was doing something that was useful. Look, I was at that press conference, or that stakeholders meeting, where the chairman of INEC was speaking to the parties and said that, look, I have decided, as in he as INEC, he together with the other commissioners, have decided to postpone the election because it was very clear that materials could not get to most of the centers. If it had happened at that time, and it was very true, even in Abuja, part of Abuja, on the 23rd, materials could not get to some of the locations early. You would be surprised why, because of how the system has been structured.
But did the INEC explain why, despite the postponement, they still couldn't get the materials to those places?
Yes, those explanations, they said, well, with all that they had done, with the deployments that they did, after the 16th, they took a number of days. That 1 week, all the materials were supposed to have gone, and majority of them went. But in areas that they did not go early, they gave them the opportunity to vote the following day. These were very few areas.
We got some exclusives, a lot of them from you, but one where the people around Mr. Atiku pushed you off, literally, despite the fact that you kept mentioning that you're from Ghana and you wanted to find out what his chances are and what his plans are and all of that. How did you feel then when you were shoved off?
Disappointed, but I can understand. Very disappointed, yes. Haven't been a presidential reporter before. I know how the security, I mean, around some of these high-profile people. But I thought because of elections, well, we could take position. We took cover. We were in the press conference by the PDP. And when it was about to end, we strategically went to locate the camera behind his vehicle. His security details, we spoke to them. And they said, oh, well, you try and see. But his bodyguards inside the room, I mean, they were not with us. But the other one said, oh, what you can do is that when he comes, just identify yourself and pose the question.
Right.
So I rehearsed with the other security around his car. But the bodyguard inside, I didn't have access to him. You can understand it. So immediately he gone. And where we were, when I posed the question, he had it all right. The bodyguard would not allow it. He would never allow it. You can understand why. But I mean, I felt a bit disappointed because I thought it was one good opportunity for him, knowing very well that Atiku has some linkage to Ghana. I mean, he's well connected to Ghana.
Absolutely.
I hear he has a family here. I've not been able to verify it, but I know. I mean, he's been here on a number of occasions. So I was thinking that it was a good opportunity to sell yourself once again to the good people of the world, that you are ready for this. Then again, the gentleman punched me right in the face. So at a point in time, if you look at the raw footages we had, my glasses even fell on the floor. I was lucky the glasses did not break, but I had to pick it quickly, insisted. I wanted to see if that he was going to give me that opportunity, even if he had said, I will not talk.
That's enough. That's in itself. That would have for stuff to treat the voters or to buy them off to vote in a certain way. Did you see that in Nigeria?
Yes, we had seen footages from some other states that even one senator who unfortunately has not been re-elected. I mean, he lined them up. He stood at a polling station.
Okay.
So the entrance of the polling station, when you're going in, he hands over some cash to you.
Okay.
And then when he takes the
And this was in the full glare of the public?
It was in the full glare of the public. I mean, that's Nigeria for you. These things spice up the elections in Nigeria. So he gives the cash to you, and then you go in, and then you go and do the stuff for him. As to the other side of it, where he should have monitored whether indeed they voted for him or not.
Well, of course he can't monitor.
But the result indeed did show that the people punished him. But yes, he gave the money all right.
They took the money.
They took the money at the polling station.
Okay.
He went and voted against him.
Wow.
So I mean, it was so much of drama characterizes Nigerian elections.
It does suggest that the African electorate is becoming more conscious.
Absolutely.
Of what you promise, what you deliver, and how you cannot hoodwink them with some cash or goodies. It does appear to me.
It does. And for me, I think that even in the body politics of Ghana, we are beginning to see that. Well, politicians can no longer take Ghanaians for a ride. You think that's something you say today, they have not recorded it. Tomorrow they will remind you of it and give you a proper interpretation that affects everybody. So I mean, when you look at the two parties, the APC took me on a tour. Myself, two reporters from Reuters, NTA channels, and then another media house. I think Al Jazeera. We went into their situation room. Cameras were not allowed. We went into their situation room to see how they were monitoring the elections, electronically monitoring
the elections.
How elections were going to be. They deployed.
Was it equal to what Dan Kwan Studio had done here some time ago?
I have
2016.
Well, something a bit of but this particular one is a bit complicated. So what they have done is to link the various states. They had about 20 states, which I mean they had control over. So they had situation rooms in all those states, linked into the central part in Abuja. So whatever happens at the polling station, they quickly will do the recording, transmit it to the state situation room, verified and signed, and it is forwarded to the situational room, the national one. So they were monitoring. But I think that the posturing of the APC was a bit measured. When I was speaking 3 days ago to the spokesperson or the communications director, he was like, they were very confident and they were measured. They said they were not going to go out and jubilate ahead of themselves. They would respect whatever INEC has because they already knew what they had gathered. I was not surprised.
Was it the same gentleman who said that the PDP were trying to hoodwink the international press to
exactly?
To
I mean, if you look at the statement released by the spokesperson of the PDP, Kola, I mean, it was more or less of a comfortable lead one. Oh yes, I mean, their candidate Atiku should be declared. Meanwhile, INEC had not even taken a single declaration at the time. So for the APC, they had their figures, but they remained calm and they were waiting. We had tried to ask about the PDP's situational role. I tried every other thing, but they would not talk about it. As to whether they had and didn't allow any media or not, I cannot tell. But their way of monitoring. I remember after the voting on Sunday, early in the morning, we went to the two party offices. At the APC office, they allowed us access into it to just look at the atmosphere as it was calm. When we were filming at the PDP office, their security men got close to us and asked us what we were doing. And we said, well, this is our identity. We're taking a situational report of how the party offices looked. Then they said, well, you should have come to us. And we said, oh, we've been here before. Said, okay, fine. But you wait. Whatever you are filming, pause. Let me go and talk to the big man first. He went, called the head of the security, then they came. So they finally allowed us to film. But when I was speaking with them, I asked, so how far now? Then we know they hear anything, Oga. So, and you could see from the posturing of the people around the PDP office that they know how the result had
turned out.
Yes, within the various states. It was not going in their favor. The more reason why they have had to just bring out that statement. And their chairman, the Secondus, also held a press conference at 2 a.m. and said that the results being given by INEC were fake and that they should disregard it. The nation should disregard it and not go by it. They, per their own calculations and stuff, they know very well that their candidate Atiku Abubakar has won. Well,
anyway, it turns out that the figures did not support that claim. Total number of registered voters, some 82,344,107. Total number of accredited voters, 29,364,209. Total votes cast, 28,614,190. Total valid votes, 27,324,583, and rejected votes 1,289,607. Give us the details party by party. There are about 6 key runners in this election, as the INEC decided to put them. What did they get? How did they fare? You want to share the details with that quickly?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get that that open from my email. I've had to upload
let me rehash a bit of it.
Yes,
AAC had 33,953. ADC had 97,874. ADP had 54,930. APC, that's the Buhari's party, he had 15,191,847, and the PDP had 11,262,978. SDP had 34,746. So maybe a little close to 4 million votes is what a little over 3 million votes was what
when
Buhari split the election with.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at how the APC fared now as compared to 2015, the gap or the margin between President Buhari and then Goodluck Jonathan, at the time, the margin was over 4 million votes.
Right.
This has reduced, and a lot of interpretations have been given to this.
For example, what?
The turnout was not entirely the best as compared to 2015. The turnout was quite high. I'm just trying to get the details, but with this particular one, even though people came out in their numbers to vote despite the postponement, generally, if you put together the figures compared to 2015, President Buhari's performance has dropped. Yes, it has dropped, and this many have linked to the postponement. But then again, even after the postponement, for the elections to be held on the 23rd, fuel prices were reduced.
They were?
They reduced fuel prices.
But there are other issues. For example, the Boko Haram issues, the Chibok girls. There are many other issues that the people are looking for: cost of living, the economy. And I was just going to ask you about what the election, the tension, the postponement, what economic impact it had on the country of Nigeria.
Yeah, I mean, if like I was saying that, I mean, they had reduced fuel prices. Also, workers were paid before the 23rd.
So more like, to get
or say compensation of the sort, because ordinarily they would have been paid this week.
Would you consider that as abuse of incumbency?
You can look at it from two ways, whichever side of the coin you want to stand. Well, the PDP can tell you that, well, this was some agenda of the sort by the government to buy, quote unquote, the voters. But also, I mean, people had gone to vote, they traveled to their various states to vote, and it was postponed. And in as much as it was postponed, coming back was a problem. A lot of them had come back, but they've had to go back again.
I know people who traveled from Ghana, who had to come and go back.
Yeah, I mean, even we ourselves, we plan our stay to be just about 4 days. Just after the voting and the counting, then we are back. But we've had to extend for 1 more week. But these things were supposed to be an inducement in court.
Okay.
Or let me know, inducement might be too strong a word. To compensate them. That look, you have gone to your various states to vote, but the elections were postponed. You have come back to work again. Say you have moved from Maiduguri, far up north, to go and vote. You've had to come back again to Lagos or Abuja. Okay, we will pay you your salaries on time.
But that's consequential. I mean,
yes.
The salaries was supposed to be paid at a certain time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Things have happened anyway. Finally, Komla, let's wrap up the conversation this week. So when you hit Abuja with Percy, and then you were expecting the elections to happen at a certain time, then it got postponed. At that point, your itinerary changed.
Everything changed.
Okay, so how did you rework it? Because then I saw you at different places. How did you rework it? I'm curious to know.
Okay, so the first thing was to get back to base and tell them that the elections have been postponed. I remember that day on our page, I kept, okay, yes, he has been postponed, but backdoor, myself and Abraham and Matilda, back and forth with HR, we were seeing, okay, what decisions would be taken.
Right.
Then, Ibrahim, it was a weekend.
Right, it was.
But they needed to put their heads together. But at the end of the day, we had an agreement that, okay, you were supposed to have covered this election. It was postponed. It's not too good to come back and you don't have anything.
Right.
You stay there. By Monday, we'll get back to you.
Okay.
So we stood there. And then our flight was rescheduled.
Okay.
Then immediately we had notification that the flight was rescheduled.
Okay.
Mine was just to get into the other communities,
and
Niger State, and then the other ones and all that. But I mean, on the whole, I must say that it was worth it. Worth it because we were late in going, but even as they postponed it, we took advantage of it to get some contact, to get some of the people to speak with, and also get a lot more stories done. But movement in Nigeria, I must tell you, Johnny, you would have to be very careful. One of the things our mission there kept telling us was that avoid crowded places. Right. 2015, they had attended, even the night of the voting, the night before the voting, the Friday night, there was a bomb blast. Somebody blew a suicide bomb, and this was in a Trotsky.
Right.
The person took that decision to just blast
himself.
Yes, it was
public transport.
Yes. So that happened, and so you have to be cautious and careful of how you go about it. Then also, I mean, I must say, you kept mentioning Percy. He's the man. For me, Percy is a hero. Every other thing he mirrored all that we did. So we must give the credit to him as well. And then back to the team here, Koshi, Cyril, Matilda, Abraham, yourself, Godfred, Cyril, everybody, even management and then the board.
Right.
If they didn't have the confidence in us, well, we wouldn't have been able to get this far. So that's what it is.
I thank you very much indeed. Yeah. I was just going to ask you if this indicated, this election, the results and activities indicated that African democracy is growing, especially from a Nigerian perspective. And give me just one line if you think so.
I think there's a lot to learn, especially from the Nigerian elections. For 73 or 74 candidates on, I call it the booklet because you had to fold it about 5 times before it enters.
It looked to me like when we were kids, try a lock balloon sheets.
That sort of thing. and when you look at the number of spoiled vote, let me just take, for instance, in an area like Kogi State, where the number of spoiled ballot was over 12,000.
Wow.
That should tell you that it is. Somebody might decide to go and vote for Buhari, but might go and end up voting for NNP.
Right.
The thumbprinting and all that. Some decided to even thumbprint. You will be looking for the thing, you might not get it. So you just, okay, I thumbprinted just anywhere. I think that we should take some lessons from it.
Komla Kluche is the senior correspondent here. He's been in Nigeria with senior cameraman Percy Agbanu as well. They've been bringing you all the details from the Nigeria election. So the big news is that President Buhari has been re-elected as the leader of Africa's most populous nation, and he beat Mr. Atiku by some close to 4 million votes. We'll take a break here. When we return, there's more here on Newday. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Yes, kindly buy me a few more.
Start off now a daily guide. Edu Amankwa detained in Zimbabwe. Ayawaso commission NDC lawyer bounced as Sam George changes story. Yao Donko denies NCA gang and 100,000 housing units coming. Where? From where? Well, we'll get to find out. The daily 107 beneficiaries enroll on other programs. 1,702 already gainfully employed. The Ghanaian Times. President inaugurates Ghana's first foreign policy think tank. Former Unibank director discharged. Charges against him dropped. Ghana's security in safe hands. Kojo Nkrumah. And implementation of Ghana Partnership Schools Project. Pre-tertiary education units protest over what? The Finder. Jail all EC commissioners over failure to provide ROPA constitutional instrument. NPA signed safety declaration with oil and LPG marketing companies. First Ghanaian drone company received commercial certificate to operate, and benefits of RTI law outweigh cost of implementation, according to the RTI coalition. The BNFT is our final one for this morning. It says speed up industrial policies to check CD slide. Commerce Chamber. Nana Danka also picture there. 77% of LPG stations labeled high risk. And review Home Mortgage Finance Act. Grade up. Plus $3 trillion US. Ocean economy gets a local supply chain skills development boost. There in your the front page stories. Them. I guess this morning the Honorable ADF Hussein is the MP for Sanerigu, is also the minority spokesperson on communication. Chief Alaji, good morning. Thank you very much for your time. Brother? Great. How are the debates going in Parliament on the State of the Nation address?
Oh, very interesting.
Very interesting.
Very strange things are happening under this government.
Oh, how?
You should come and listen to the debate. I'm sure maybe your correspondent will tell you that.
Exactly. Everything has been
shocking revelations are coming out to the effect. For instance, yesterday, even the Agri Minister, something that cannot even qualify for a dugout. I'm telling you, John, if you can stand here and spit across what they call a dam.
Wow.
And it's taking over 2 million Ghana cedis. 2 million Ghana cedis. Something which will not go for more than 10, 15,000. From you just come and see the work. As if it is just when trucks go for gravel and they've done a gravel pit. Not more than from here to the end of your gate.
Wow.
And it's a dam. 2 million Ghana cedis under this government. Very scandalous rape of the public purse. And this is what is justified. You can't believe it. And I think that there are many other issues that are coming up on the floor of Parliament that would shock many Ghanaians.
Anyway, speaking of Parliament, I'm just curious. Anyway, the people who held the Bloody Widow placard, where are they? Parliament says.
I think I was here.
Okay.
And I indicated to you that it will come to nothing, because there is absolutely no basis for all those illegal. And I indicated to you here that. Respectfully, the directive of Mr. Speaker at that time was not lawful, because we said, among other things, that in the first place, the member of Parliament elect was not a member of Parliament. At the time the placards were held, she was not a member of Parliament.
Right.
She had not taken the oath. And if she had not taken the oath and did not qualify to become a member of Parliament, she was not entitled to any privileges reserved for members of Parliament. So the article, the order 93, Mr. Speaker quoted for that, did not apply to her. But in any case, order 93, there's nowhere in the standing orders of the House where it talks about placards, let alone even describing how placards ought to be constituted on the floor of the House.
Is there a rule in Parliament not to hold placards in
That's what I'm saying. There's nothing in the standing orders of the House that talks about placards and even talks about how placards should be constituted and what constitutes violation in the parading of placards. It doesn't. I mean, you can recall just before President Mahama left, the minority then,
okay,
in fact, where Mr. Speaker, respectfully, Mr. Speaker sat, they held placards calling President Mahama a thief, calling NDC stealers. I'm sure you could see that. So what happened? Today, the boot is on the other foot.
Is that a way to go? The placards and some of the unprintables they have, very unpalatable words. Is that the way to go?
That has been the politics over the years, and for me, it's an expression by members of parliament about things that they feel, about things that they believe resonate on the ground in our political landscape.
Should we change it because the people are not happy with it?
Fine. If as we go along as a nation, anytime something happens and maybe we need to reshape and refine our democratic dispensation, why not? But I'm saying that as we speak, there is no order, no law in the Constitution of the Republic, in our laws, in the standing orders of the House, that incriminates the use of placards.
Some people think that people should be punished, so it will serve as a deterrent to others in future. Do you believe that? Do you subscribe to that opinion?
You don't punish people in a vacuum.
Okay.
Even our laws even frown on retroactive legislation. So if there is no law governing somebody's conduct, and you on what basis are you going to punish anybody? You can punish people for the infringement of the law. If I don't infringe any law, how do you punish me? You cannot. So there must be a legal basis for a conduct. And Parliament is the bastion of democracy.
Right.
We all agree that is the lawmaking institution in this country. And so I don't think that anybody will seek to emasculate lawmakers and prevent them from expressing themselves. In fact, freedom of expression is at the center of our politics. And so I don't think, even in making of any laws or standing orders of the House, something will be done to emasculate members of Parliament and prevent them from expressing themselves.
Okay, we're expecting Stephen Amwa of the Maslock. He is representing the MPP this morning, but he's yet to arrive. So when he arrives, we'll give him a chair. But in the studio with me is the MP for Sanarigo, the Honorable Alhaji A.B.A. Fussaini. Let's talk about the yesterday, the information minister said that our security is in safe hands and that he moved a motion. In fact, in moving a motion, he said that our security is in safe hands and that all the talk about insecurity is just, a hula baloo and you are just making a mountain out of a mold and all of that. Is that an opinion you'd want to go with? It says, well, retooling has been done. They have given the security services resources to be able to act. The president has told them to act. And so he doesn't see why you will come back to say that there's insecurity here. What do you say?
Thank you very much. I should have said good morning to all your viewers and also to the good people of the Sanargo constituency, to your good self and to my brother who has just arrived. Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Good.
Let me say ab initio that I have every confidence in the professional capacity of our police personnel. They are given the freedom to operate. They are given the requisite level of resources to function. I have no doubt in my mind that they can rise to the occasion. But and it is not just I saying it. The current level of the police architecture has, for the past years, contributed to emasculating them, and in recent times it has been taken to dizzying heights. In situations where the police have to work and they have to look behind their shoulders. And this has come very, very clear in respect of this terrible incidents that happened at Ayawaso West Wogon, where clearly criminal things were being done and the police had to look on helplessly, not because they don't have the capacity to act, but because they have to look over their shoulder. They are petrified. And so for me, I think that it has created serious problem for our management of security in this country. In fact, the recent crime statistics that were released, from robberies to homicides to other distance, they all went up. And that tells you that things are happening. Today, as we speak, one of the things even that coalitions and others are talking about is even the issue of kidnapping, the 3 girls in Takoradi and others. The recent unexplained murders, which as we speak now, are still not resolved.
They say they are isolated cases. The information minister says the police security is.
We are talking about, if you talk about isolated case, you are talking about 4 or 5 unexplained murders. How can that be isolated? Respectfully, I have a lot of respect for my colleague, Honorable Opon Nkrumah. But I respectfully disagree with this to call a series of murders isolated. They by no means are they isolated. There are important things which need to be resolved. And I don't think we should hide behind the euphemism of these words and not act. So I think that, look, we should free the hands of the police.
Who is tying their hands?
I just tell you, for instance, that you listen to ACP Agozo,
right.
and then the Commissioner of Police Kofi Boachi. They made it abundantly clear that, especially in respect of this issue of the vigilantes, their hands are tied. My brother, look at how across the 10 regions of this country, the invisible forces, the Delta forces, and others ran riot. What happened?
The Hawks.
You can
Azoka boys.
Azoka boys. Have you heard them run riot in any region? If you can give me examples, we'll add it. I have no problem. If they run riot, people should mention them and say it. And I'm saying that because of these issues, the police, their hands are tied. They could not act.
Okay.
And I'm not the one. Like I said, I'm not the one who said. If you go back and listen to the tape,
right,
that was played by
ACP Dr. Agozo. I remember
Agozo and Kofi Boachi. And they actually called on Ghanaians that we should rise up to the occasion and ensure that we make certain very critical amendments. And I favor that.
Okay.
I favor that amendments that can place the police as a purely professional institution.
Okay.
Not directly under the control of the executive, so that whoever commits any crime, the police can come after you.
Interesting.
So going forward, I am saying that going forward, if we are able to do that, any government, whether it is a government of the party that I belong to or a government of any other discipline, that comes and anybody engages in the infractions of the law, the police will go after them and make sure that the law, without having the fear of losing their jobs or action being taken against them.
Okay.
I favor that change in the
Thank you.
police.
Let's now introduce Mr. Stephen Amoah. He's the boss at Maslock. Stephen, good morning. Thank you very much for coming.
Good morning. It's a pleasure having me on your set.
Absolutely. Stephen, yesterday, moving a motion in Parliament, the Information Minister, Opon Nkrumah, had said that the security of the country is in safe hands, and that contrary to what we're being told on the other side, that there's insecurity, it cannot be true because of the improvement that we've seen in for example, resourcing the police, plans to recruit more people and all of that. We cannot therefore say that it's but you had ABA Fuseni. What do you say to the views out there? Are we in safe hands indeed?
Thank you. My regards to our viewers this morning. Just before then, I got here, I heard my honorable member's statement that we've done a dam and then he can spit over a dam.
Right.
In a way or by extrapolation, trying to criticize the way our approach towards attaining or taking agriculture as an integral part of our economy. And interestingly, I don't want to belabor his point, but agriculture was growing 3% under NDC before we took over. Now it's growing 8.4%. And these are facts, and he knows them. So I think it's not an issue that he should even talk about it, because the gap is too much.
He talks about the size of the dam and the cost of it.
Bro, talking about the cost, I don't have it. I'm not a tower, come and lie. I don't have the cost. But I'm saying that his point, I'm surprised.
Why are you surprised?
I'm saying they were in power 8 years. Agriculture before they left was growing 3%. This is what I think we need to find is true. And now it's growing 8%. Food is being exported to Burkina Faso under Nanado. So you let me move to my issue.
If it's growing and the cost is exorbitant,
my brother, I'm a farmer.
Okay.
You go to Nkawanda, number 1, near Nkoko. They know I have my farmer. I'm telling you, my cassava has gone waste. My plantain there. Go and talk to my farmers. Why? Food so much in abundance that the prices are so low. This is a fact.
Okay.
You can come to my house now, see palm oil line up, prices coming down. So it's not about the lies people tell. I'm not saying Ghana is heavy, but when it comes to agriculture, it's one of the areas the government has done well. Within 2 years, grown agriculture by difference of over 5%. It's unprecedented. So let us not go into...
the cost and the size.
What do you mean by the cost? The cost that he said, do you have the facts?
No,
does it mean it's
he
true?
said the cost and the size. I mean,
see,
he's mentioned
so
it.
you should bring it. No. The point is that
if
the cost is going up as he said, which I don't think is so,
okay,
and now agriculture is doing well, expansion of agriculture means more jobs are being created.
Okay.
I mean, food security is a very important issue on the globe.
Okay.
And we're having food very cheap. We all know, I mean, you know, you are in Ghana here. Plantain, cassava, yam, all over, everything. And I'm a farmer myself. So, I mean, I'm not saying Ghana is heaven. He is talking about prices. They increased one bus by $30,000. Go and check the airport there, like railway. All of us have been traveling since childhood. The airport they did there, they increased the figures over $100 million.
That's why the people
I'm saying,
for change,
of course, but when he cannot be saying this when he doesn't even have his facts. So what I'm saying is that these are all propaganda issues. Okay. Now going,
he was in Parliament yesterday.
See, I don't want.
Alaji, hold on, please. Let me. I don't want.
Now let's go to the security issue.
He was in Parliament yesterday, and these were facts that he said were presented by the Agri Minister.
Which facts?
On the floor.
That the dam were overly priced.
Yes,
or budgeted.
That's what he said.
That's what the minister said.
No, that's what he says.
So I'm saying that I think what we have to do going forward is just a suggestion. The media houses that are leading this country, like TV3, is a great station. You're a wonderful person. He's made this statement. Let your guys go further.
We always do that.
Oh, I'm just suggesting something.
No, but we always
so,
do
but
that.
not until we've gotten our facts. We cannot say what he's saying is true.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Ghanaians cannot back.
I'm not saying what he's saying is true.
I know, you've not said that.
I'm just asking you.
I am making my statement that we cannot say it's true.
Okay.
I'm not saying you are saying that.
Okay, right.
And I am saying that because I don't have my figures, I cannot say he's lying or he's speaking the truth. But what I know is that under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, IUBFO, less than 3 years, if I within just 2 years, a couple of months, agriculture has grown from 3% to 8.5%. Food is cheap.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's a fact. Ghanaians know.
Let's talk security.
Talking about security.
Is the country in safe hands, really?
I think so. It's better relatively. We are not there yet. Because security is a major issue on the globe.
The list of
can you also,
no, I'm just asking
questions. But I get your point too, but almost every point, this is where maybe I also don't understand.
Okay.
So you ask me a question, you let me also land, then you come in. But once I open up, you come in, then I get confused.
Okay, sorry. I'm confusing you.
Thank you.
Sorry. So let me situate my question well. The list of unsolved murders, the political unrest, what we call vigilantism or what has been called militia, thuggery, hooliganism, and all of that, is a concern of worry. The menace of landguardism, if there's anything like that, and the other issues, robberies.
Well, boss, these things should be condemned.
Okay.
We should detest them. They are dysfunctional to the performance of our republic. But let us not allow propaganda from the NDC as if they are worse today. I'm coming. I'm reading this. This is Mr. John Kudalo.
Okay, IGP.
Between 2014 and 2015, this is what he said. Statistics by the Inspector General of Police, IGP, Mr. John Kofi Kudalo, indicate that a total of 1,068 high-profile murder cases were recorded in Ghana between 2014 and 2015. That's what he said. 1,068. Just a period of, I think, 1 year or 2 years. High-profile murder. In fact, 1 year between 2014 and 2015. High-profile murder. Who was in government? I'm not saying we should do this benchmark analysis or trend analysis. But when people are trying to impugn, in my opinion, unproductively partisanship component within these discussions, this is what happened. The fact of the matter is that insecurity is a global issue. I mean, I'm not trying to be too known, but even though I'm from very humble background, my parents were illiterate. I started traveling even before I went to Kenya University. The murder cases, insecurity issues in America and England, UK, you know, they are far more than us. I'm not saying we are justifying ours. It is an issue that we need to fight and eradicate them entirely from Ghana. But when you want to do politics with it, look, if you allow me to show the atrocities, cases involving murder, assault, brutalizing, cutting people's head into two, I have all the figures. Under NDC, they are here. They are even on my phone. I can let you show to the world. People, look, after all, I was nobody died. But look how happened in BA. Yame Kwame, go and ask. I show you pictures. I'm not saying who brought Azoka Boys. And a member of parliament, Jesus Christ, is saying that Azoka Boys is for community, whatever help. Even the NDC, they will look. My brother is saying that. Honorable said, oh, police, I believe in the police, they are good. Another member of parliament from NDC is saying that he didn't believe the police, that's why he didn't take the. I mean, the NDC, the entire embodiment, the entire structure of NDC is just all about lies and propaganda.
Do you make you make an individual's opinion the view of the political party? Will it be fair if
whose opinion?
No, for example, Sam George said.
No, do you hear what I'm saying? Two members of parliament in the same party.
Will it be fair?
One person is saying this, Stephen, another person is saying that.
Stephen, will it be fair if anybody lifts your opinion this morning and makes it that opinion of your party? Would you be happy? Will it be fair? If somebody today references what Stephen Amwa says here.
Anytime I'm on your state, if I'm making a statement and I think I have to detach my party from it, I make it emphatically clear that this is my position, not MPP's position. We are making a statement that is so serious and to the core of our heart as a country, insecurity, vigilantism, that even a class 1 child in my house knows and understands and believes and acknowledge the fact that vigilantism, Azoka Boys, the Hawks, Delta Force, Invisible, whatever, these are major issues. And all the three came after even Azoka Boys. So even modern day contemporary politics, it is the NDC that initiated that thing. But we don't want to go there. And the member of parliament is no ordinary member of parliament. When the entire nation, Christians, Muslims, chiefs, young, old, colossal, dwarf, all of us are coming together to fight this national canker. A member of parliament to fight any issue such as this is the acceptance and acknowledgement of existence of that dysfunctional factor in our society, and then boldly look into the eyes of the entire country, tell us that there's nothing like that, it's for community philanthropy, and we believe in this. This is why I'm saying that the NDC, in my opinion, this is my MPP, this is not my government. Any good Christian and Muslim, that's my opinion, that reads the Bible and the Quran and believe there is Almighty God, I don't think will follow NDC, because they are not ready to even change. Can you wrap
up for me?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I need to respond.
So what I don't
respond, please.
Because look at who's talking
about talking about people in the same parliament to St. George. They are saying the police is good. He's saying the police is bad. The lack of cohesion, even among them.
Please.
Okay, hold on.
You see he's heckling.
No, I've not.
He's not.
It's all right.
When I'm talking and he's talking and he's producing destructive interference of waves to impede my statement, he say he's not talking.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
Man.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
Please tell him when I'm talking.
Can I ask you a question, Steve?
You can do whatever. I'm listening.
My question is that as a matter of opinion, and I'm saying that I've had members of parliament here from your side of the divide, and I've had you here as well, who have said different things on the same subject. It doesn't make the MPP as a body look, and that's where we're going, where you try to put religion and all of that.
I see, that's my opinion.
Okay.
It's my opinion. I am a sinner. I'm not an angel.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is that consistently, every organization has its values, and characteristics.
Right.
The NDC, unless you don't want to be honest. I'm not saying MPP, it's having made institution. No, they all do good and bad. NDC does good and does bad. MPP the same way. But what I'm saying that consistently, historically, up to now, progressively, NDC has positioned itself in a way that any honest person sees that the NDC shouldn't even be the fourth force in our political realm. But I hope you understand something.
Let me ask you. Well, that's your opinion. Let me ask you a final question.
I know it's my opinion.
Yes,
That's why you called me. It's not your opinion.
Thank you.
I don't think it's your opinion.
Let me ask you a final question.
And I'm expressing my opinion.
I'll give you a lot of time.
I'm expressing my opinion, not your opinion.
Stephen, let me ask you this question. Honorable Sam George yesterday said at the commission that if we fix the menace of land guards or the land guardism, whichever it is, we'll be able to solve political vigilantism. Is it an opinion you would want to agree with?
I think if we are actually doing critical analysis of this whole issue, it was a statement that, in my opinion, was a good statement.
Okay.
But it can be done when, look, solving all conflict in the world. Conflict, I mean, destructive ones. There are positive conflict. We have type A conflict and we have type C.
Right.
Talking about the destructive ones, first thing to tackle is the primary factors. I mean, the core, like NDC, MPP. We need to come to the agreement table and accept the fact, acknowledge. But if you don't acknowledge and you say we should go and deal with land guards, which of course plays.
The president said give them a letter, invite them. Have you invited them?
I'm not a party executive. I wouldn't know.
So you have no idea.
Honest. Yes, I can't talk about.
Today is day 4.
I'm saying I can't talk about something I don't know. I've answered you.
Okay.
If you
have you been interested enough to find out after the president made a public comment
to find out whether they sent it?
Yes.
I've got so much on me now. I want to be honest with you. Okay. I've got so much on me now, and I think Samia Uku, John Boadu, national chairman, women organizer, have confidence in them, their capabilities. I know they are doing well and they can handle it. Because in organization, it's not, you can't put your eyes everywhere. So
but you go on to media stations to talk. This is a topical issue.
I say I don't know. It's not everything I'll know at the time.
And I'm saying, have you been interested enough to find out?
I don't know the amount of interest you're talking about. Can I go ahead?
When you say that,
I say I don't know whether they've sent it as of now.
Okay.
I think I don't see why I want to
No, slow down. So I'm just asking
I've told you I don't know.
You don't like it when I ask you questions.
No, because of the way you ask me. No, I've told you I don't know and you're pushing me, you haven't shown any interest. I think the discussion we are having, if I say I don't know, let's move on.
I'm sure you're making so much.
All right, thank you very much. Alaji, step in for me.
So you didn't let me talk?
No, I'm Stephen. You have had a lot of time, please.
You've been talking all this.
Alaji, let me come to you now.
You're speaking more than I've done.
So
interesting. But you're asking me a point. I'm talking.
You asked me a different question. The president yesterday said that we should have a bipartisan meeting to deal with the menace of vigilantism. Some elements of your party have said that they won't go for the meeting. Some say the meeting is useless. What do you say?
Yeah, before I come to that, I'm sure my...
No, I want you to give me an answer before you go to
will. I beg you, please.
So it doesn't draw responses from him.
No.
Give me a definite response.
Because there are certain things that I need to respond
to. But yes,
I
agree.
So
but
I beg you.
I want an answer now so that we can go to this one. Would you go for the meeting? Would you advise your party to go for that bipartisan meeting?
Let me say from the outset that the good people of this country elected to have a democratic dispensation, where dialogue rather than force and the use of guns to pummel people into submission is the order. And so in any democratic dispensation where calls to dialogue come, they should be very welcome. And so ordinarily, what His Excellency the President put up would have been very welcome, except that we are not in ordinary times. And also judging by the sincerity of that proposal made by the President, we find it to be insincere. And let me state why. You see, Johnny, you cannot have your mouth full of water and you say you want to blow to the candle fire. The MPP's mouth is full of water and they say they are blowing to the candle fire. You are talking about the situation where you have now elevated political violence and thuggery to the state level. The state is the arbiter between political parties and groups. The state is supposed to be the instrument that should intervene to ensure that public order, peace, order, and stability prevail. And that in any situation of conflict, they should stand as a neutral instrument. Okay? when President Nana Akufo-Addo swore the oath at the Independence Square on the 7th of January 2017, he didn't swear to come and bring Delta forces and MPP, invisible forces and others into the main security ambit and make it look like it is a partisan element for MPP supporters. Okay, so you are infusing people into the security establishment. People of questionable conduct.
That has not been established yet.
Yeah, because look, even the IGP. You remember this issue where this man was pointed out as somebody who was wanted for armed robbery, and he was found in one of those people. He was found among those people wearing those uniforms and filtering on the police vehicle on that day, and armed with AK-47 rifles. Okay, so we are saying that you cannot be inundating these security services with your vigilantes and then turn around again after it, because in the run up to 2020, and you remember even the Upper West Security Coordinator who even issued statements to the effect that the party should bring him able-bodied, well-built boys for them to train. As we speak now, that even exercise has not been debunked. So you are making all these preparations, and then you turn around and tell the NDC that they should come and be part of an arrangement that will disband vigilantes. It is not sincere.
If you refuse or if you fail to do that, you push legislation.
My brother, what legislation? You see, the president is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of this country. He is the first servant of this country.
The IGP says
there are laws in this country. Why? What new law does he need? Anybody who goes and commits a crime, there are sufficient laws in this country to apprehend and punish the perpetrators. Those who committed those atrocities in Iowa West, the evidence is there. They should have gone for them directly. They don't need. Do you need any law to have gone for them?
Some judge says,
what law? I'm coming. What law?
The problem of the land guards.
What law
you will solve this forever. Do you agree?
I'm coming to that. What law do you need to be able to fix this problem? When in the face of this atrocity, evidence abounds about the criminality of those elements.
The president.
So it is possible to deal with.
The president has given you one week ultimatum.
I don't think we need any laws. You should. Why? You haven't finished wrestling with Peter. You are adding more. The laws that we have are there. You are not enforcing them. You are asking for more laws. To do what? Because there's sufficient evidence to have gone after the perpetrators, the criminals, the bloodthirsty hoodlums.
Some judge fingered the land guards. He says stop them and we will have peace. Do you agree?
I'm sure he was only preferring a long-term solution. He was trying to look at the issue, and I have seen some newspapers saying that he has changed. He has not changed any stance. What he has said, that he has been very consistent, that these were the things that happened, where the firing took place, who fired, and even the identification, including even one of the members who gives protection, bodyguard of Samuel Wuku, the national organizer of the MPP. He was identified. Okay? Some other persons were there. Some judge actually went to identify one of the guys who assaulted him. He's working free as we speak. What law does the president need to deal with such perpetrators? By now, he should have been in custody.
Are you doubtful of the commission's work?
I'm saying that even as the commission does its work, it doesn't stop the law from being enforced. Are you telling me, for instance, that because the commission is working, we must freeze everything and wait for the commission to finish? Okay. So that if there are cases where the law needs to be activated, we should wait until the commission completes its work. Because even as the commission does its work, those criminal elements who can be identified and dealt with, they should be dealt with.
So are you giving me indication that the NDC is not as committed to finding a solution to the menace of the vigilantism as we have now?
It's like you are comparing a university professor to a JHS student.
And who is the university professor? Who is the JHS?
Yes, and I'm saying that because you see, that's why I talked about the elevation to which they are done. You understand the point I'm making? So we are comparing apples and oranges. We are talking about a situation where, in the case of the Delta forces, the invisible forces, the track record of their propensity for violence is across the country.
That's not more like equalization.
Tell me what violence as boys across the length and breadth of Ghana. There is no region that has escaped the menace of the Delta and invisible forces. Not a single region.
As boys beat your own internal party people.
I am saying that give me the evidence region by region. Okay. That is why I'm just telling you that you are comparing a university professor to a JHS student. We are talking about the magnitude, and I'm saying that if it comes to the issue of people sitting down, you need to do a very thorough work of purging.
So go and sit down at the table. The president says 1 week.
I'm saying that.
Today is day 3.
I'm saying that. Number one, even you just asked a question. Today is day 7, day 6.
Okay.
When the president made the broadcast, he made the broadcast on Thursday.
Thursday, right.
Tomorrow will be 1 week. Even the letter that he talked about, invitation from the MPP headquarters, has it come? So that one even tells you that even they are dragging their feet.
If Mohammed doesn't go to the mountain, the mountain goes to
I listened to even the national organizer of the MPP. He was asked, this is the day, John Joy FM, you were asked, this is the 5 or 6 of them. You still haven't written that. They say, oh, a lot of their national executives have traveled. Some were engaged in other assignments. And so they have not yet come. They are waiting for them to come, for them to convene a meeting to discuss what the president has said, even before a letter will be written. So I am just telling you that even that speaks volumes about their level of commitment.
Okay, Stephen.
To this, but I think you deny me that.
We need to go.
I wanted to start on this thing. Stephen made my brother Stephen made some points in respect of the police.
Okay, I think you have had
the MPP in opposition.
I think you have had it.
They made it abundantly clear that they did not believe in the police forces, the police service as a whole. They jettisoned the police service. I said they had no belief. As a political party, I'm not even talking about
when you are in opposition.
We're in opposition. The NDC as a party has not declared a vote of no confidence in the police.
A few.
I'm saying that the NDC as a party,
a few weeks ago,
we have not as a party declared a vote of no confidence.
Elements within
we have been critical about some lapses within the performance of the work of the police.
Okay,
certainly, but don't mistake that. The MPP said as a policy,
thank you.
They don't believe. But I'm just
we need to go. Let me make this last point.
I beg you.
But you have a lot.
You know, Stephen Amo said that prices of foodstuffs are so low on the market.
Do you doubt that?
Many Ghanaians will cry today. Master, go to the market.
Why will you doubt
the sweetness of the pudding is in the eating.
He's a farmer.
When you go look,
he has produce that is going bad.
A bag of maize. I'm a farmer myself. Under the NDC, a bag of maize sold for 70 Ghana cedis. Go to the market today. 170, 180 cedis.
A bag of maize. He's looking at you with doubt.
A bag of maize. I'm challenging your team. After this, they should adopt this. Go down and prove which of us.
Stephen, wrap up for me. What will be your closing thoughts?
I'm closing now.
Yes. What will be your closing thoughts?
Thank you. The fact is, I'm a farmer.
Okay.
Maybe Honorable hasn't done farming before.
I say
when it comes to maize,
then
let your Quran guide you, because when it comes to maize, we have seasons. I sell maize, you store them. We have peak season. We have times that maize prices go up.
Right.
And the NDC, I sold maize as far as 150 Ghana. Is it? I don't know Accra very well, but the place getting to Ofanko, the market there that you can go to Hachu or whatever.
Okay.
That's why I sell my maize. He's just lying. Look, talking about.
I'm sure he's lying.
Allow him. Stephen, wrap up.
It wasn't NDC chairman Potofi, 7 July, Talensi election, that was holding AK-47 in his car. Are you not aware in this country? I don't want to go into all these things. What I'm saying is that whether it was NDC or MPP, I mean this country, even President Mahama said that when it's violence, they are stronger than us. I don't want to go by all these jargons. We need to move forward as a country because violence is deteriorating the structures of our country. It's getting our country into a deplorable state. It's becoming dysfunctional to the performance of our economy, our businesses, jobs. These are major issues that I'm expecting member of parliament not to even talk like even me and show to the world that yes, he is leading a community. Look, Azoka boys, they came to Talensi, they came to Atiwa, they've been coming to Kumasi elections, by and even general elections. They are vast in their numbers. So my brother honorable member is not be honest with the truth, and not until the NDC, our brothers, begin to demonstrate and illustrate pictorially, they are ready for us to make sure we kill this canker, because they play integral role.
Okay.
But if they are not accepting that, how can we as a people fight this issue?
And
they are not, because they always say liars. NDC, they are always lying. They don't even care about God.
You are not sincere.
Thank you very much.
You don't fear God.
Stephen, will you push for the letter to be written from your party to invite the NDC?
I'm saying I don't even know his status. Whether they've written
it. I'm asking now.
So will I push?
Yes.
I will support that they do that. Why not?
Okay.
But I don't know. Probably even as we are talking, they've done it. And
yeah.
writing letters such as this, the way this country is polarized, and the way people can trace information. You know, we have a lot of people that always want to display their ego trips. I mean, intellectual dishonesty, unconscious incompetence, and stuff like that. If you're even writing just a mistake with a letter, somebody like you will pick that thing, forget about all the others, and begin to. So I'm sure probably if it's delaying, probably they are taking their time.
To me.
Not you, like media.
Is that somebody like me?
Yeah, because
that's not fair.
That's
to
what
me.
Ghana.
That's not fair to me.
I withdraw, but you've done a lot of unfair things to me, so we are brothers. Don't worry.
Anyway,
what I'm saying is that
Alaji,
what I'm saying,
if you transform
Alaji is coming back again.
No.
If you transform your son into a monster, the amount goes to be different.
Okay, thank you, Stephen.
That's why the monsters that they do when they were in the opposition
is the boss
vigilante forces and the others they train.
Maslon office in this country. And Alaji ABA Fuseni is the Member of Parliament for Sanerigu and is also the minority spokesperson on communications. It's 6 days after the president made a definite statement in Parliament. We have not seen the letter inviting the NDC to the table to discuss how to fix the menace of vigilantism. The NDC says, we are not sure this is how to solve the problem. What do you think? Let's hear from you after this break. Welcome back. This is TV3 Newday, and we've been joined by the Executive Director of the Dankwa Institute, Edward Kwekwasman. He's my guest this morning. Chief, good morning.
Pleasure.
And how are you doing?
I'm very well.
As the Wednesday morning so far?
Not too bad. Can't complain.
You took office sometime last year in November?
I did, yes. How's
it been so far, being in the main seat at Dankwa Institute?
It's been great. I took over beginning of November. And it's been really good. I would say, as the ideological institute of a ruling party, you never have a dull day. So it's been one program after the other. But yes, it's a challenge I look forward to.
Topical issue trending right now is the menace of political thuggery or hooliganism, which has been called vigilantism. As a politics think tank, what do you think of it?
I've been quite forceful on this. I hate the equivalence that we draw, and I've said it before, that when issues come up in this country and immediately people take political positions, it almost halts progress, because then everybody becomes defensive. I listen to some people in the NDC talk, and you think vigilantism, political vigilantism, or whatever we call it, started in 2016. At the same time, I also tell people in the NPP that what happened in Ayawaso was unacceptable. First time that a sitting president has set up a commission of inquiry to investigate political violence, resulting from a by-election. It's never happened.
That's sounding like an MPP communicator. That's been the points they've been espousing.
You see, I always say that look at people like Emil Short, Kofi Abuchi. These are respectable Ghanaians. And the whole idea that, there's a political hogwash and they're doing the president's bidding is disingenuous. These are well-respectable men in this country. And, we can... The proceedings are televised. We see what is going on there. And that is why we can actually talk about this issue with some facts and realize that these so-called boys are just people who go for the highest bidder. You can start something, but you cannot control it.
But we've seen commissions in the past, of inquiry in the past. For example, the Jamfe commission that spoke about the Brazil, overspend, if you will.
Yes.
What happened to that white paper?
So
that necessarily has been the agitation of the people of Ghana. That look, we've seen this before. We've seen wild revelations. We've seen people who are culpable in our eyes, before the law, and they've been left to walk.
Yes. And you see, this is why the President's State of the Union address was even more commendable, because it's not just the inquiry. He's also thrown a direct challenge to the political parties that, we know the source of this problem. Sit in the room as adults and let's get to the root bottom. Immediately this commission was set up, the NDC was like, no, we're not going to do it. They said, okay, as political parties, as adults, let's sit in the room with the security forces and find a solution. Let's agree to tangible targets that we can agree to disband these so-called vigilantes. And you know, we almost have a pushback from the NDC.
But the MPP has not written the letter yet. Or do you know if they have written the letter, I must say?
I have had some communication, and I know for a fact that the leadership is out of the country. Okay. And we just have to give them the time to come. This is a serious matter. They need to do their preparatory work, both parties. Sit down and for the good sake of this country, come up with a solution that
How long does
acceptable.
it take to write a letter, for example, to invite the other side to come to a table to discuss a matter that both sides have agreed is a cause for worry for the country? How long does it take to write a letter?
I can tell you for a fact that there are modalities being worked out as to who is going to coordinate. And let's not forget, it's not just the NDC MPP in a room talking about vigilantism. The president's instructions were quite direct, that he's going to put the security apparatus. Yes, yeah. So there needs to be some coordination. And you know, they come and sit here and play the usual politics, but I tell you, there are talks undergoing to make sure this thing happens.
What do you make, again, as a think tank, of the condemnation on one side, say, well, we condemn it, we don't think what happened should have happened, blah, 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 and then they start equalization right at the same desk. And I see them here every morning.
Yes.
We condemn it, it's not good. Then they go on, do you remember what happened at Titiwa? Do you remember what happened at Talensi?
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, what do you think?
You see, I immediately, I also happened, I said this, but you look at somebody like Sam George, Honorable Sam George, talk yesterday, trying to convince Ghanaians that Azoko Boys are this community-based group that do projects. When you do that, it gets people angry because you can't take Ghanaians for a ride. We know that. And I also said earlier that political vigilantism did not start from Ayawaso, West Wagon. We know that. So this is where the politics has to come out, because if you're telling me, oh, Ayawaso was awful, then people would also remind you of what happened to them in Talensi. And let's not forget, Chairman Blay was nearly beaten to death. And they would remind you of those things. So let's get the politics out and see this as almost an existential problem for this country.
Okay. He talked about stamping out the menace of land guards so that we can solve this. And somebody whispered to me that, look, both parties go to shop from the same place. The land guards of the political season are land guards. Then when the season comes up, the highest bidder, like you put it there. Do you believe, again, that in stamping out land guards, we are able to solve this political vigilance?
I don't agree. What we need, the issue, it's land reforms, economic growth, and education. I can tell you, these so-called guys who carry the guns and protect, if they had gainful employment, they would not. They do that for the money. They don't do it because, oh, I'm Gam, Ashanti, I'm protecting this patch. No, they do it for what they get in it, and that is why economic growth, education should go hand in hand.
One district, one factory, one village, one dam, one constituency, 1 million. These are key promises that the party and NPP in power now promised the people. We have not seen them materialize. This is the third year.
I disagree fundamentally when you say we haven't seen it. Let's go back. Let's put things in context. His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo took over when inflation was 17.5%. Economic growth rate, as measured by annual GDP, was just 42.8 billion. Fiscal deficit was at 9%. There were real problems in this country. The IMF was on. Even as we speak, there are things government want to do that they cannot do because we went back to the IMF. And I always say that Ghanaians believe in this man, but he needs time. Inflation today.
How much time does he need?
You see, and that is the problem, that, you know, we've always had the economic boom and bust. We get the fundamentals right and we blow it up during an election and then we start again. What this government and what this president is saying is that I'm going to stick to it. There are people in our own government who are pushing, oh, let's get these infrastructure projects, election is coming.
You're talking about inflation.
Yes.
That it's looking good now.
It's better than what we had.
The CD is flat on his face on the floor,
yeah.
bowing prostrately before the dollar.
No, you see the
euro, the pound.
Between me and you, we know that we need to grow ourselves out of this over-reliance on foreign exchange. We need to export more. We need to industrialize our economy. That is the only way out.
Until then, the CD cannot be falling.
But that is why the macro is important. That the history of industrialization everywhere, the Asian tigers, the West, you have to get the macro right. If the macro is not right, you cannot go anywhere.
Somebody says, in addition to fixing the macro, cut down on the size of your government.
You see,
110 ministers.
You see, as a center-right think tank, we believe in a small government. But you see, the elephant in the room, nobody talks about it, is taxes. Okay? We have over 6 million adults in this country who should be on the books who don't pay taxes. And part of the social contract with government is that we give you a bit of our freedom, but provide us with the basic facilities to make us lead a comfortable life, national security, infrastructure. But the difference between our country and other countries is the fact that we have to enable government to be able to achieve that. And on the part of government, reassure us that when they get those resources, it would be used judiciously.
110 ministers, have they been worth it?
I think, you see, when we go...
Paycheck. No, I just a straight question to you, so we wrap up.
Yes, when we go into the numbers 98, let's look at what this government is doing.
Okay, we're told our time has run out. Quick question, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
And he's the Executive Director of Dankwa Institute. We'll be back with some more here on Newday. It's got to be over some points. And Dr. Dennis Borte of the Health Net Swan Medical Center has joined us this morning to talk about the silent killer, hypertension. Doc, good morning. Good to see you again. Looking fly as always. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing splendid.
Great. What is hypertension?
Well, I mean, let me try to put it in the layman's terms. Book definition sometimes. But we just need to understand that the blood that flows in us moves a certain pressure through our tubes, or our arteries and our veins. So just like a tap that flows to your house, you have blood flowing into your body, and it moves at a certain pressure. There's a normal pressure which your blood should move at, in order that you'll be safe, in order that your brain will be supplied adequate amount of blood, in order that your brain will be well hydrated. In terms of oxygen, well oxygenated. Your every part of your body gets fit, nutrition, oxygen, things, and pressure. If the pressure is too low, it's not too low. Just like coming to home, too low, it's not too low. And if excess, it's not too good. So basically, we talk of hypertension, we are speaking about the fact that a person's blood pressure or the pressure with flows to the arteries higher than we see as very normal. We see the blood pressure of 150/80, the normal pressure. Usually we have a range between 100 and maybe 140 over maybe 6 to 9 to be about normal for every person. Thing have or below, sometimes eyebrow, but something else could be high, which tends need to be.
So it's not just blood pressure, low blood pressure as well.
High blood pressure called hypertension. And low blood pressure, hypotension.
Wow. And both dangerous.
Yes, high more dangerous. Hypo can be dangerous. We don't have any case of hypertension. Hypotension is maybe somebody got to be acute. The person is bleeding, is hydrated, excess blood can drop to the point of going to.
How do we get this blood? Because we're all born now. So what's it abnormal?
So there's what essential hypertension, primary hypertension. Which case we the cause may not be that directly say that person is normal, like it gets to a point and his blood pressure is going. You may have that thing that primary be normal. The essential hypertension is where probably the very strong history somebody in family, close relative or close relatives hypertension as well. And sometimes it's just connected across on the line or tree ticks and things can play. So essentially, it can be a thing from family. Things that can mean we may as environmental factors, lifestyle factors, where people accumulate cholesterol in their system, and for their capillaries and arteries, they are so it's not able to move free, and then the heart has a lot more go to blood across. In any case, we also have what we call disease in so persons has functioning of has what we call enlargement of heart, triple hypertrophy, and that could lead to the heart pumping, and therefore much pressure exerted periphery. And people may have resistance to blood flow, and one of the could be because of high cholesterol that we have put into them. Thing can be better. People don't do too well, and therefore too much salt. So in our environment, like salt, we like a lot of salt. I mean, a lot of things you buy, they take it away, they put it in for you. Shitol after and they will just
some chop and bit of salt.
Yeah,
yeah, dangerous.
Yeah, too much salt puts sodium in your system, and when sodium or salt water will go into. So you have a situation where too much in your blood system is what move into your system. Blood increase, therefore, pressure would also increase as well. There are some main essential things that could, but you have second factors. Hypertension. They come as a result of disease conditions. There are people with thyroid problems. That lead to eventually lead to problems for hypertension. Some people do things pregnant women, especially in the community where I'm from. There's a lot of hypertension in young people who are going to.
Why is that?
Yeah, there's pregnancy hypertension, which is becoming common in these the premature have delivered because the fact that young mothers now antenatal seeing very high pressure, and therefore they get to close to the time of delivery. It's that the babies before they get into call a eclampsia, which is very fatal for mother and child. So there's a lot of factors. People have other things in their a kidney problem, they have kidney problems that also affect their pressure, or pressure it lead to kidney problems. People have seen a few tumor glands in the may and hypertension coming.
You talk about cholesterol. What does it contribute to it? I'm curious.
Yeah, cholesterol is the layman see it as right system. It basically is part of our that produces cholesterol, and cholesterol has good effect. It's good things it plays in the body. Just that some people we produce cholesterol, others, and indeed what we call filial cholesterol. In which case, there may not be fat necessarily, but they are genetic that they put a lot of cholesterol. So somebody who has bad normal cholesterol, somebody who is too fat, has high cholesterol. Now, what happens is that with cholesterol moving with the blood, if you think as being fat molecule, then it means it cannot with water. Blood essentially. So as cholesterol drop move through, they don't make. It's just putting water on of water. It will stick to the walls of the container. So cholesterol, other things stick into the walls of the vessel, your lumen of the blood vessel. So this ends up narrowing the lumen for which has to travel. So it means that now there's resistance to the flow of blood for the that must be in order to overcome resistance, and that contributes to the blood pressure going up. And again, if we call atherosclerosis in there. They form a plaque inside your tubes. So when the plaques are inside the tubes, if another day the plaque can come off time and through an loss and can cause a problem in the brain, in like what we call eventually lead to stroke, etc. So the complications of hypertension cannot be underestimated at all in terms of systemic and organ disease that it
can. People who are quick tempered hypertension,
stress of the thing can lead to hypertension. When the person is stressed, when the person is sleeping, is not well rested, all the transient increases in the blood pressure. Therefore, it's actually absolutely important. Now, people quick temper. I mean, once you get to that state of temper, your body calls to play the fight flight mode, that kind of thing. You are charged with your adrenaline is just playing. The more you very quickly, the more you put these things in play. Therefore, and that this adrenaline in only can get you for the and then go. But comes in a little your intima or the maybe the blood vessels and goes away. You keep doing that, and eventually it could also help in giving you a high blood pressure. So it's always important to keep a cool head.
Keep a cool head, that is it. Laugh more and have fun. Doc, let's talk about symptoms. How do I know that I'm getting hypertension or that I have it?
The reason why hypertension is called a silent killer is that for a lot of people, it doesn't even give symptoms. And for those who may have symptoms, it may start with just headaches. So I must confess, 2 days ago, somebody came to the hospital and just about headache and dizziness, and you check the blood pressure is 270 over 170, when the normal is just 120 over 80. And this person is actually somebody who was already on medication and quit. Stop their medication to go and try other things, either pray or do other things and all that. And came back with a throbbing headache. So sometimes you can have a throbbing headache. The headache is pumping and pumping. Sometimes you realize that you can't even sleep. Or you realize that you have palpitations. You realize that you are feeling dizzy, like the whole world going around. These may be signs. Sometimes you may realize that you feel sweaty all of a sudden. These are things that could indicate to you that you need to check your blood pressure. Or sometimes you may be urinating a bit more frequently. You may think of a UTI there, but sometimes the body, in an attempt to regularize the blood pressure, tries to get rid of water, just so that if I'm able to get rid of water more often, I end up reducing the blood volume, so that pressure would also. So it's a compensatory mechanism that body is trying to get into. Sometimes people who are unfortunate, the first time they will notice they have high blood pressure is when they've gotten a stroke. So the pressure is so high, and then all of a sudden they feel weakness on one part of the body, and they get to the hospital. They can't lift one side of the body, and then the legs or the hands. And that is when complications are setting. And before long, it's very high. So it's important that you don't wait for you even to have symptoms, but get to understand the fact that once you are in a family where blood pressure is either your mom or your dad, your uncle, your auntie, anybody else has got it before, it is important that you just walk in yourself and say, I just want to check if I'm okay or not. If you are fine, thank God.
Let's talk about other ways of prevention. We're wrapping up on that one. Somebody mentioned exercise. Somebody mentioned eating well or right. What else would you add?
Yes, exercise is good. We say with exercise, you'll be able to work your heart into pumping quite well, supplying every part of your body. It helps also to burn cholesterol. Dieting is also important, because if you are eating right, you are likely to have your cholesterol quite well under control. If you are eating right, it will also mean that you are controlling the amount of salt you are taking in. If you are eating right, it also means that you are also controlling the amount of alcohol you consume. So alcohol is also part of the dieting aspect. So yeah, people should be measured in how much alcohol they consume. Having said that, with the dieting and exercise, people think that when they are diagnosed, when they've been diagnosed of hypertension, but you said that exercise and dieting is okay, so let me just go and eat and diet and then exercise, and that should take care of my blood pressure. No, that is not it. these are things we need to do every day,
okay,
in order even to prevent it from coming.
Right.
But once it has come, make sure that you get a holistic management of it, because the blood pressure going up is not just about it, but there's this we call end organ damage.
Okay.
Because pressure is flowing into your brain, pressure is flowing into your liver, it is flowing into your kidneys, it's flowing to every part of your body.
Okay.
So you think you are fine, but your kidneys
the
are
ripple effect.
It's all over in the system.
Organs.
So yes, let's do our regular exercises. Let's do our very good dieting. As I always say, more of plant food, fruits and vegetables. Let's go down on the meat, go down on the alcohol, go down on the fatty stuff, and keep a very good weight. Make sure that you are keeping
a very good weight. Doc, thank you. Can it affect your sexuality?
Yes, high blood pressure. If you get a stroke, it's definitely going to affect your sexuality. High blood pressure can also affect your erection and your performance ability.
I see. Doc, thank you as always.
Right.
Very educative. That's Dr. Dennis Botte. So you got all the facts that you need. Here's the man to speak with at Health Net Swan Medical Center. And if you have concerns, I'm sure you can gravitate towards them and get all of them solved for you. It's not just talking about blood pressure, it's talking about many other conditions and diseases. So you know where to go. Find Dr. Dennis Botte at Health Net Swan Medical Center. We'll be back with some more here on Newday. And thank you very much for staying with us. Good morning to you, Uncle Tommy Annan-Forsing, a big man, a big voice, great man and teacher of many, and father and uncle of many more. And let's talk about the movie industry now. I'm sure you know that a few laws have been passed in our favor of the movie industry, but the activation of the rights of those people with their rights under those laws is not so clear. Number two, where President spoke about the film fund or arts fund at the last State of the Nation address, has also come up as a topical issue within the industry. We want to talk to Emmanuel France. He is a veteran actor, and Nanaya Ejari is also an actress. Nanaya and Uncle France, good morning. Good to have you here.
Same.
How's it going? Tuesday, Wednesday?
Yes, but
so far so good.
Fine, yes. The weather is good.
The weather is good for you.
Yes.
How does it feel to be an actor these days?
These days? In Ghana, we are growing. But from where I started here.
Okay.
I started in Ghana here in 1969. Went to Nigeria. We grew up in Nigeria, and it was fast. And the encouragement in Nigeria was also fast, and they encouraged it so much. But here we have overstretched ourselves, doing more of the concerts than doing the real intellectual film business. We are growing. We are doing well. We are doing well. The young men are doing well, especially with the advent of, sorry to say, many Nigerians coming here from Nollywood and so on and so forth. And NAFTI. And the Ghanaians have done well. Yes.
You've played in both fields, in Ghana and in Nigeria.
Yes.
What is it that they get right that we don't have right? What is it?
Yes. No, we were together until the Nigerians, just like the Ghanaians, have a lot of folk stories told them by their grandfathers, grandmothers, and so on and so forth. Now they were able, and you know the Pidgin English is very prominent in Nigeria. So they started with blending their language, that is with the Pidgin English, their language with the Queen's English, and so on and so forth. So that I am shooting a film in English, but it has an Igbo background. So then there's a lot of population and so on and so forth.
Nanaya is also an actress. Nanaya, let me pick your thoughts. You know, forget about the sex for roles, you know, thing that has been said over time. But how easy is it for a young lady like you to make strides in the acting industry or film industry in Ghana? How easy is it?
I would say it's both easy and difficult, because there's no venture that is not difficult. I have learned that for everything you have to persevere.
Okay.
The industry is such that if you have something good, you can make it despite the difficulties.
Okay.
Yes, you want to tell the story and tell it right. And so for me, I've given myself to learning on a daily basis.
Could it have been easier?
It could have been. It could have been. Like I said, for everything there are difficulties. I don't see it as difficulties. I see them as challenges that, you know, every actor, a good one, must go through.
The laws have been mentioned, and recently the president mentioned the AFA. I'm sure you've been listening to the president.
Yes.
This will be the third time I've heard the Art Fund, for example, mentioned. The film bill, after a long hibernation in Parliament, finally got passed. But then the legislative instrument to make people with rights under that law activate their rights is non-existent. What does that tell you from where you sit as an actress?
As an actress, it tells me that very little attention is being given to the creative arts industry, even talk less of the film industry, forgetting that, you know, film can bring great revenue to a country like Ghana. You know, so we shouldn't see film as a nation as something that we just do on the side to entertain and make us happy. You know, we can tell Ghanaian story. We can bring stories that will portray Ghana or Africa, just like the Americans are doing, South Africa is doing. You know, that can really place Ghana on a high pedestal as far as the diaspora is concerned.
Okay. Mr. Franz, no contribution, no chop is a very popular phrase around here. I'm sure you know about it. And some say that, look, a lot of actors and actresses don't pay the taxes. In fact, people in the arts don't pay a lot of taxes, and yet they want the government to spoon feed them, build auditoriums, get them the enabling environment. It doesn't work like that. Do you support that view?
It is not what I support.
Why don't you support it?
What is happening. Okay. There was this party in Nigeria, NCNC, no contribution, no chop.
Right.
You are using an actor, you are not paying him or you are not paying her. Where does he get the money to pay you tax? I don't know whether you get it.
How about those who get paid and yet they don't pay their taxes, they don't file them?
Because already you have established some sort of, how do I call it? You are using an actor or an actress, you are not paying him or her, you are saying he's upcoming. And where does he get the money to pay you the tax? And here, so the big boys, so the big actors, capitalize on this, and especially the female side, they just want to appear on TV. That's how it all started.
Right.
Just want to appear on TV, and they pay you. So now, you, the employed, you are paying the person employing you, and all of a sudden it's like a master apprentice.
kind of thing.
It is not.
Was it like that in your time?
No,
when
it
you
wasn't.
started from, you know, on the stage with stage plays, was it like that in your time?
No, it wasn't. At that time, we were even encouraged that when you act and you act well, you are bought. Those days it wasn't Coca-Cola, it was lemonade,
right? Lemonade
and things like that. So they encourage you to do something. They buy you things and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Then it came in Nigeria. They started paying you some stipends, right? They encourage you.
Okay.
Then you say, so there's money in this. What I came back to Ghana to find that they didn't see the professionalism in acting.
Is it because just anybody gets up and calls themselves an actor, just like we have in the journalism field? People just get up one time and they say, I'm a journalist. Is it because of that? Because there's no licensure exam, for example, for you to sit to certify yourself to call yourself an actor or actress?
Yes, it is even better with the journalism profession, because at least you learn something somewhere and you try to do something. But in acting, you are naturally an actor. Even without going to school. You can be endowed to act. And so you can imagine people like Bob Cole, OD and the rest. Ekwa Wahima was one of the best actresses Ghana has ever produced. She never saw the door of a school.
Okay. In A Woman is the title of the movie that is coming up. Mr. Emmanuel France and Nana Jare are featuring in there. Take a look at the trailer. When we return, there's more here on Newday.
Why is your mom so jealous of women coming close to you? What, is she going to marry you? Or is she going to sleep with you?
I'm lonely. I need a boyfriend.
See why I say I don't need a man in my life?
I'm the guy you slapped at the club the other night.
Are you here for more slaps or you're here to slap me back? You are not getting any younger. These things you see, they will not be there forever. You are a woman, not a piece of furniture, for Christ's sake. You deserve nothing but the best.
Senior Junior who brought one ragamuffin rascal who has no dignity for himself that they want to enter this compound. For what reason?
This is the only child you have. And this is the only child you will ever have.
All I want is to see my daddy. I want to talk to him. I want to know him.
Every child deserves a good life.
Why should children suffer for the sin they did not commit?
Go onto the street. That is where you belong. If I ever see you anywhere close to my house, I will.
And that's the movie in a Woman. We'll discuss that. But happy birthday to you, Mr. Emmanuel Kokwe Clottey of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. And also to you, my good friend, Bismarck Capuchin. It's your birthday today, guys. And if it's your birthday as well, happy birthday to you. Good morning to you, Uncle Tom of Rabodef. Good morning. Nanaya, in A Woman, why that title?
Well, that title because the movie depicts the day-to-day struggles that every woman goes through. Now, society has carved a definition or a perception of how people should be, specifically the woman.
Right.
And so it has to do with three women who depict the different characteristics of different women.
Okay.
One will not get married. She's married to her career. Another has her business. She's a single mother. Another is married and she commits a very huge blunder, which is actually the crux of the movie.
I see.
And that was a role I played, and that was my father.
Ah, okay.
But at the end of the day, we realized that you don't create perceptions for how people should be.
Right.
That stifles the woman. Yes, but there is something inside a woman that if you are allowed to be portrayed, the world will be a much better place.
Does it make you a feminist?
I am not a feminist.
Not
I
a
speak
feminist.
the truth.
Okay, so pepper them, sugar them.
No, I am Nanaya them.
When are we showing the movie?
We
when
are
premiering
premiering the movie this coming Saturday at the Silverbird Cinemas, Accra Mall, 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Black carpet, not red carpet, because we are Africans here.
Right.
So black carpet is 6 p.m. on the dot.
6 p.m.
And ticket goes for 30 Ghana cedis only.
Right.
If you have a group of 5, it's 25 Ghana cedis. And there is a very, very important surprise. I am performing In A Woman reggae single live on that stage.
Give me a taste of that.
I'm a woman, not a lesser human. No. I deserve to be.
You deserve to be, of course. Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel France and Nana Ajari. Chief, thank you very much for coming. I wish you all the best. And we'll see you at the premiere, hopefully. My name is Johnny Hughes. On behalf of the rest of the team, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and know that if you can think it and your heart can believe it, only you can achieve it. It's dancing time now, gentlemen. Woo! Let's get up. We're gonna dance.